There is nothing which is wrong with the country that a new government cannot fix. It is time for a new start, a fresh beginning, new direction, people-centered leadership. That's why Team Unity Dominica introduces the Clean Slate, a new political direction for the current political era. The Clean Slate, an idea built on new and progressive energies based on what is best for Dominica and Dominicans. The Clean Slate, the platform for a new and progressive political coalition. The Clean Slate, uniting the partisan colors with a message of renewal and hope.
Well, a very special greeting to you. I am happy to be here to hold forth for this Clean Slate program. We're going to be looking at four major, concepts or issues which we think can affect Dominica, and of course are beyond the control of the average citizen in the island topic we decided to choose for tonight's Clean Slate program is immigration tariff, war, and travel advisory. 4 Category 5 hurricanes heading for Dominica. Make sure that everything is fine in terms of my audio and video. I think I should be good. I'm seeing that I'm appearing well. I hope that my audio is good. If it's not, you will bear through it. As I was saying, we are looking at those 4 major issues which can in some way or the other affect Dominica, and that's the focus on this particular program. I will spend between 30 minutes to 45 minutes on that discussion, and I hope you will follow me through and join along with the conversation, if not live, but sometime in the future. And we decided to title this program accordingly because each of these issues are like a Category 5 hurricane hitting Dominica because of the impact it can have on Dominica's economy. And of course, if you would have experienced any of these catastrophic disasters on the island, and even if you have not, that's not what you want to wish for your country. So we at TUD are not calling for those things to happen, but we are calling attention on the possibilities of they happening, and if they happen, what it could mean for our economy. So we say categorically that we pray and hope and wish beyond hope that the country is not visited with any of the impending international crisis, so to speak. Because tariff is a major crisis. If, and I know America has already established higher tariffs on Dominica, if that is sustained and continue to be the case, and even if it increases, every Dominican is going to be bothered by it. A hike in tariff by 5%, by 10%, which I think is the case in Dominica, is going to maybe possibly put a few businesses out of business and put some serious strains on those other businesses that are able to withstand, but the money and the increase of the tariff is going to be placed on the cost of goods on the island. And it is futile to get into the cost of items, the cost of goods. Everything is affected by the tariff, even if those items and commodities are not imported from America. Because the tariff affects every single product. And again, it will take some economic gymnastics to explain that to the average person. But I will put it in layman's terms, so we all understand. Where do we get gas from? All the countries in the world the oil producing countries in the world have an agreement when it comes to gas. And there are companies which refine gas, and those companies are American based companies. Where do we get our food from? Most of our foods, America. Clothing, America. Building material to great extent, America. So no matter what you do, you're going to find something. And even if those stuff don't come from America directly, the cost of those stuff are impacted by the American dollar because our money is pegged against the US dollar, the Eastern Caribbean dollar, 2.6 against the US dollar. It is doing so well against the US because it is pegged to the US dollar. And McMurray, or let's say Thomson, Fontaine, or any of these economists could show you how the deliverables on our money is kind of influenced by the American money. So no matter what we do in the Americas, we cannot escape the impact of America when it comes to tariff. So that's a problem. Any hike in the tariff on commodities in Dominica is going to affect everyone, not just business people. It's going to be a trigger to the business, but it's going to come down to us because no business is going to have higher tariff costs and pass those costs onto themselves, keep them and say, it's all right, man, I'll have the cost, the hike in tariff. You guys will be all right. That's not how it is done in the business world. Those costs are passed down to you and you and you and you. So are we praying for that? No. That's one issue. The other issue is the matter of immigration, where America has been, the new policy of the government, the new administration is to clamp down on immigration matters. And I was told, well, I heard it from our prime minister, that one of the issues America has with Dominica is that some Dominicans apparently overstay on their entry visa into America. I guess that's one of the reasons. I don't think that's the only reason. But let's say in proportion, based on the size of our population, the numbers of people traveling to America, it is huge enough, those people who overstay, to be a problem for the State Department, for ICE. So that is a problem. It created a situation, and America threatened to clamp down on Dominica. If that be the case, and let's say those people who have been overstaying are deported, you know what problem that brings to the individuals, to the family. I know Dominicans, to be quite honest, and probably I should not say that because somebody might come to say, well, I need to know these people because we need to send them home, and I will not give up the information because I have the right to plead the Fifth. I'm protected by the Fifth Amendment. But I know Dominicans who have been in the US for over 20 years, undocumented, because they're getting by, and their life now is the life in America. That's the life they know. And there are a number of people who are not just adults, but young people as well, who are part of this life. And it is going to be a tragedy to just uproot someone and deport them out of the island. No, that's going to be a problem for us, and we cannot afford to have a number of people being deported into the island. That's going to cause economic instability for them. It's going to cause psychological instability for them. And just name the downside of that. So that's another issue that will seriously impact the country. Let's say 150, 200 people are deported from America. That's a big problem for Dominica because all these people are now going to be responding to the situation in Dominica. Probably some have been gone for 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, 30 years, you never know. They have to be reintroduced to the system, and the communities that they live in are going to have to deal with the stress of their reintroduction to the system. Dominica is a small country, we're like an island state, so it's going to affect the entire community and by extension the country. So that's another problem, a potential problem. And by saying that it is all well and good and right for people to overstay their visits in America? No. Is it okay to regularize it easily? I don't think it is very easy. Is it going to have an impact? In a small country, when many people, multiple people are returned to maybe same communities or different communities, yes, there's going to be an impact. So that's number two. We do not want to see our Dominicans deported. Am I promoting illegalities? No. Is someone who has overstayed in America an illegal person? No. You only become illegal when you would have gone to court and the court gave an order that you do not obey. or when you break the law in one way or the other. Moving to America and overstaying is not necessarily an illegal activity. It is overstaying, which is an offense of sorts. But the law, there's due diligence which must be given to you, and then for you to get an order from the court, and then that's when it becomes illegal. Until the court says so, it is not. The police can detain you and believe that you are suspicious or you have found, based on the law, to have overstayed, but that matter has to go to court. There is no way that you are found guilty before the court tells you that you are. So the matter of illegality of immigration is a tricky one. Anyway, so we dealt with that. That's two. And as I said, I'm going to go through these 4 issues very rapidly. Hopefully spend 30 minutes to 45 minutes to get out so that you would know that our team had an input in terms of those 4 issues, which can be catastrophic if they hit. So we have done tariffs and we have done immigration. For those, again, who probably don't understand the term, and I think everybody do understand the term tariff. Tariff is a tax. Taxes placed on commodities. And that's pretty much what tariffs are. So when you increase commodities price, those prices or those increase are passed down to the people. Companies never absorb. Never do. If they do, it's not everything, and in certain areas. But they generally pass down the tax to the people, and everyone feels it. Everyone. Especially those people who do not have much money. They feel it more than those who can afford. All right, so let's look at war. War in the East. America had a very tactical and targeted attack on Iran's nuclear capacity and claimed that they would have dislodged or disassembled or seriously hampered Iran's ability to create nuclear. And we are saying, well, what does that have to do with Dominica? How is that going to affect us? Well, of course it's going to affect us. And if the war, or if that escalates into a larger war involving other oil states, or just Iran alone, because Iran is an oil-producing country, the cost of oil or gas is going to be impacted by this. Now, you may not immediately feel it, but in the next week, 2 weeks, a month or so, and if this thing is prolonged, we're going to have problems. The oil price is going to increase and the gas price is going to increase in Dominica. Anything that happens anywhere in the world will affect Dominica back home. Dominica is not immune to the problems of the world, and that war issue in Europe as well, not just in the East, but more in the East. And you may say, well, Russia is not a Middle Eastern country. Russia is pretty much Middle Eastern / European because they produce oil as well. And whenever you see issues with oil happen in the world, it's going to impact every country in the world because every country in the world uses oil. So war cannot be good. If war is waged anywhere, we are going to have issues in Dominica. And if the oil price goes up, the gas price goes up, we are going to struggle more than we are struggling now. So that's item number 3. 10 minutes to do the last one. Item number 4. And that is the travel advisory, which has been threatened against Dominica. What's a travel advisory? It is a sort of protocol put in place by a country that says people of another country ought not travel to that country until and unless this is done. I didn't read any protocol, any memo. I know it's there. I am aware of it, and I heard our Prime Minister responding to it. So it's a fact that is happening. The matter had been leaked before. People didn't take it seriously. I didn't really want it to be true, but it appears that it is true, and Dominica has a little limited time to fix up its act. And I pray that our government and the technocrats who are dealing with the issue can convince America that Dominica will do what America wants Dominica to do in terms of its shortfalls. I do not want to speculate what we have done wrong, but what we have done wrong is going to impact everyone. So if our government, through the immigration situation, passports, whatever America believes is a problem, they are telling Dominica. And Dominica has to fix this. Dominica cannot dance around it, cannot tell America do what you want, because if America do what it wants, we are in trouble. If Dominicans cannot travel to America as we do now, or if there is a restriction on visas to get into America and we live in the Americas, we have problems. Yeah, we can go to Guadeloupe and St. Lucia and Barbados, of course. But America is the main gateway to Dominicans for the rest of the world. You can go to England, yes, but how many of us can afford to go to England? Or how much trade do we do directly with England? Where does our food come from? Where do we send food to? Where do we get money from? Where does the remittances that come to our country come from? Then the majority of it, 90 plus something percent of the remittances from the diaspora. It doesn't come from China or any other countries that we are friendly to. It comes from America. And that advisory has the potential to cripple Dominica's economy 10 times over. So I hope and pray that our government is astute enough to listen to the Americans. You may say that the Americans are bullies. They may very well be. And probably they can afford to be because they are. That's how global authority works. There's rule that determines the global order, but there's also might. Might is right, and America has some might. I'm not here pontificating for America. I'm just speaking the gospel according to the global order, the global authority. And America is the loudest trumpet out there. And probably, too, if we look at what America is barely yaking about, probably America has a case because we have had issues with our visas, not visas, our passports, the people who hold the Dominican passports. No, I'm not saying that's the major issue that the American has, but it has to be a consideration. There has to be something. I do not think that there's going to be a travel advisory on Dominica just because a few Dominicans overstay in America. I don't think just that. Sometimes countries look for more than that to put an advisory. And the advisory would be more in line with, I guess, the issues with passport and the uncertainty in terms of who has, who do not have. Again, I'm not casting aspersions. I am not wishing anything to befall our country. I'm just saying that if this comes to pass, we are going to suck salt. I shouldn't say that. That's kind of not nice to say. I've heard some people say it in the past, and I do not want to be associated with that statement being said in a way that suggests that Dominicans are going to guay. I prefer to say guay. And that is my program. That's what I wanted us to do here tonight. I was invited in my capacity as someone who does politics for a living to do this for the team, to put this out there as a content piece so individuals can know that we did make a statement about what we think would be impending disasters, 4 of them: immigration, tariff, war, and advisory. And we pray that these do not happen because our country cannot sustain them now. And even if you are in the opposition or indifferent with the party that runs the country, you cannot in good faith wish bad for the country. So we wish the government well. We know the government does not always do good, especially in the past quarter century, not the better part of it, because I think you have to give and take that the government has done some good things, but the government has done a number of terrible things that have caused the people to suffer. That's why TUD is here. If the government was doing as well as the government claims it is doing, there would be no need for a TUD or for any opposition. Opposition rise because they do not like what the incumbent is doing. So you have to give and take. The government may have done some good stuff, but we think they have done more stuff to hurt the people, the majority, than done stuff to help the majority. The minority, a select few, have benefited tremendously, and they will tout the goodness of the government, as they should, because they are benefactors. But the people, the average person from Dominica, we know they are not having a very good time. But we still do not pray for bad to fall on the country, because when one person hurts, everyone does. Well, that's what I think, and that's what we at TUD think. And that's our program for today. I hope you enjoyed it. I was happy to be here solo doing it for the team. Thank you for being here, and you can post your reaction sometime later on. We'll get to it, but I chose to do it that way so you have one song bite to mull over. Thank you, guys. This has been the Clean Slate this week. We'll see you next week for another live program.
There is nothing which is wrong with the country that a new government cannot fix. It is time for a new start, a fresh beginning, new direction, people-centered leadership. That's why Team Unity Dominica introduces the Clean Slate, a new political direction for the current political era. The Clean Slate, an idea built on new and progressive energies based on what is best for Dominica and Dominicans. The Clean Slate, the platform for a new and progressive political coalition. The Clean Slate, uniting the partisan colors with a message of renewal and hope.